Next question we have is of many chewing gums found in market are considered a source of environmental pollution. Okay, okay. Many chewing gums contain plastic as a gum base. Now, this about chewing gum we don't study in our material or our content about chewing gum and plastic as its base, and no, this is not in any book at all. We need to go by the generalist attitude which we have, that yes, when we have chewed gum, it sounds like plastic. We never consume chewing gum inside of us, we always spit it out. So okay, there is plastic in it, that is why maybe we spit it out. And they are considered a source. Yes, anything can be considered. Yeah, it can be considered a source of environmental pollution. It is nothing specific, it's open and generic, and hence is the answer. Next is about the World Toilet Organization. Now, World Toilet Organization is again something which you never ever read in any of your notes ever. Now, this is something which we don't read. It is one of the agencies of the United Nations. No, because had it been an agency of the United Nations, we would have heard of it. And there are some 17, 18 UN agencies. You should have at least read the list of that once or twice. No, it is not. World Toilet Summit, Toilet Day, and Toilet College are the initiatives of this organization to inspire action and to tackle the global sanitation crisis. Okay, he's talking about X, Y, and Z are initiatives of the question of the organization to inspire action. It is not even talking about doing action, it is talking about inspiring action. That means you should have the thought of doing an action, that is called inspiration. Thirdly, is the main focus of its function is to grant funds to LDC and developing countries to achieve the end of open defecation. Now, India has been doing Swachh Bharat Plus, ODF Plus, ODF Plus Plus for so many years. We have never heard of this World Toilet Organization. India never partnered with this World Toilet Organization, or else the government has promoted Swachh Bharat so much, we would have heard of this organization at least once or twice in the newspaper, right? No. So I can cut out three, and there is one more reason to cut out three. Granting funds. Granting funds is done by bigger and well known bodies like your World Bank and IMF. These are the bodies who grant funds. The World Toilet Organization may not even have a fully functioning permanent secretariat. Maybe, I don't know. But it is not a very well known organization. And taking initiatives to inspire actions means you are inspiring, you're not actually going on the ground and doing anything. This sounds more like an organization. Hence, one is clearly wrong. Three is again wrong. So we are left with two, that is two only. This is how we reach to the answer. This is how we have to think in the exam. You can do this thinking only and only if you are mentally calm in the exam. If you are under tension, stress, and you are not able to perform good, that is, you won't be able to think this kind of way in the exam. So you need to keep a calm mind. Next is lions do not have a particular breeding season. Okay, unlike most other big cats, cheetah do not roar. Okay, unlike male lions, male leopards do not proclaim their territory by scent marking. Now I see here statement 2 and 3 are very similar sounding. Unlike X, Y do not do Z. Unlike X, Y do not do Z. 2 and 3 are very similar. So either one of them will be wrong. So I suppose you have no knowledge. Then either 2 can be correct, then 3 will surely be wrong. And if 3 is correct, then 2 will surely be wrong. This is how we do it. So 2 and 3 together will not be correct. So B and D are gone away. Now 1 is automatically correct. How do I know this? Because we are left with option A and C, and both the option A and C contain statement 1. So statement 1 is correct. And if we think logically also, we might have seen National Geographic, Discovery Channel sometime in our childhood or younger days. Lions are sexual animals and they can breed anytime. They are not like turtles who come by the beach, like the Gahirmata beach and Olive Ridley sea turtles come during breeding season. Fishes have breeding season. Lions and all these people are very high end on the mammalian scale, and they don't need particular breeding season. They can mate and generate offspring anytime. Now, so that is correct. Out of 2 and 3, if you don't know anything about 2 and 3, you can mark any of them, because we are in a 50-50 scenario. But now let us think more. Cheetahs do not roar. That is slightly hard to believe. And male leopards do not proclaim their territory by scent marking. Now, scent marking is something we know it is very common in the feline species, especially in cats and other bigger cats also. That is why male leopard does scent marking. As we know, dogs do their marking by urinating at a particular spot, by marking their territory. This is a kind of animal behavior question which was expected as per the trend. So many of the candidates would have known statement 3 to be correct. So 1 and 3. Next, we have the total fertility rate. Now, assuming you don't know much about total fertility, but you know that its value is 2.1. That is the replacement rate. You may not know the exact definition, but we know total fertility is 2.1. We have read about this in lot of government statistics, NFHS, Niti Aayog, SDG data. Everywhere this is mentioned. So the number of children born per 1,000 people, this is wrong. This is the birth rate. Second option is the number of children born to a couple in the lifetime in their given population. Okay, maybe. Third is the birth rate minus death rate. That is the growth, absolute growth. Fourth is the average number of live birth in a woman that would have by the end of her childbearing age. Now this talks about an average. This talks about the number of children. The number of children will always be a whole number. You can give birth to 2 children, 3 children, 4 children. You can never give birth to 2.1 children. No. So statement B, option B is also wrong. So we are left with D, and that is the correct answer. Let's go ahead. Here I want to talk about, if you know the Hindi language, then you can use it to your advantage. Because in this question, where there are no parables in Upanishads, the word parables may not be known to many of us. It's all right. Now we go to the Hindi and we read, Upanishadon में कोई नीति कथा नहीं है. First of all, not having something is an extreme statement. Secondly, niti katha. Niti means morality, katha means story. The option is saying there are no moral stories in Upanishad. Now that is entirely wrong. The Rig Veda until the Upanishad, everyone talks about morals, living life, the Atma, the Brahma, and the mixture or the interaction between them is being spoken about in the Upanishads. So the statement 1 is wrong. Statement 2, Upanishads were composed earlier than Purans. Yes, that is correct. I have told in the strategy video, you should know the chronology very perfectly, and hence we know the chronology. A very similar question was asked in Civil Services Prelims 2023. I guess it's question number 5 of set A, where they have spoken about marshlands, extensive marshlands, and in the Hindi options it was spoken about Kutch, and in the options also it was talking about run of Kutch. So by the Kutch correlation, you can mark that option as correct. So that is one more place where we have used Hindi in answering. Next, we are on to the set of defense questions. First one, operations undertaken by army, Operation Sadbhavna. This is a very verbatim factual question. You should know this. Next, exercise Mitra Shakti. This was a joint military exercise between India and Bangladesh. Okay, it is between India and Sri Lanka. As a CAPF aspirant, you should know this. But in case you don't know, we will keep it on alert. Okay, if I don't know, maybe it can be wrong. It can be changed from India and Bangladesh to maybe India and Nepal, India and Sri Lanka. Any country it can change. It was commenced on the Pune. Now this is a very specific word. Even if you have not read in the newspaper, this is a very specific word, and this is not something the examiner will think of by himself or herself. If you are thinking of an option to make it wrong, you would have written Delhi, Kolkata, or some other city. Writing Ondh is something which you don't think by yourself. So statement 2 is 100% correct. Since statement 2 is correct, option C gets away. Now here I am saying, okay, if you know Sri Lanka, then option A, B, C, all 3 get correct. You can option mark D and move on. That's fine. But I'm saying if you get stuck up, then you can think about on that yes, this is something the examiner will not type or think about himself or herself. Next is joint response during counter-terrorism operations was a goal of this operation. Sure, counter-terrorism is a part of the exercise. It's fine. It's a very open generic statement. So option 2 is correct. Now A, B, D, option 2 is correct. Option 3 is also correct. Sorry. Yeah. So A or D. We are stuck between A or D. Now we have to decide between 1 and 4. Indian Air Force was a part of this exercise. Since you're 50-50, you mark either of them, that's fine. If you know it is Sri Lanka, you cut out all 3 and you go for D. But yeah, you should know about this being a CAPF aspirant. What are the duties of the Chief of Defence Staff as head of the Department of Military Affairs? This was very, very much in the news, and this is something which most of us will be knowing. Permanent chairman of the Chief of Staff Committee, correct. Exercise military commands over 3 service chiefs? No, absolutely not. Permanent military advisor to Defence Minister on all tri-service matters? Sure. So we go 1 and 3. By knowledge, we mark and we go. Even if you know that the CDS does not exercise military command, then by that very way you can cross out ABC and go for D. That's fine. You should know this. Then question number 69. This is a 4x3 matrix that I spoke about. You have 4 rows of brigadier, major general, major, lieutenant colonel, and army, air force and navy as your columns. You have to mix and match them. Please see Wikipedia and you go for option D. That's it. Only this one is correct. Here all in this, the army and air force is perfectly matching. There are errors in the navy. This and this are erroneous. This one is the only thing which is correct, lieutenant commander. So please know about this. You should know about this before going to the exam. If you don't know, then go to Wikipedia, read about this and keep it in your memory. The last 2 questions from GS would be, India does not import apples from the United States of America. This is a very extreme statement. India does not import apples. I mean, if India imported even 1 apple, then this statement will be wrong. So statement 1 is wrong. This is my understanding. Second is, in India, the law prohibits the import of genetically modified food without the approval of competent authority. This is very clear. You need the permission for importing. For this GM crops, please read very carefully. You need to know about FSSAI, the GEAC, the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, about DBT, the Department of Biotechnology, which all 3 come under different ministries. Okay, so FSSAI come under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. GEAC is an statutory body under EPA 1986, and your DBT comes under Ministry of Science and Tech. So you should know, and who permits what and what is allowed, what is not. You should know. This is a very favorite topic of UPSC. They have been asking it over the years in CAPF, civil services, CDS, everywhere. Please read this in depth. And here what I want to talk about these options is that, because this is an assertion reasoning question, in all the 4 options there is no scenario where both statement 1 and 2 are wrong together. So if you know statement 1 is wrong, automatically you can go to option D and mark it that the statement 2 is correct. You can straight away go. So please keep in mind whenever reading, that is why I'm teaching about all the permutation combination within the options, that both statements together cannot be wrong. You should use this to your advantage, because if a particular part of the statement is repeating in both the assertion and the reasoning, then you have to presume that thing to be correct if it is appearing in both the statements. Recently, Venezuela has achieved a rapid recovery from its economic crisis and succeeded in preventing its people from fleeing or emigrating to other countries. Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. Statement 2 is correct because of the world mapping that we have read, and statement 1 is wrong. Let me explain why it is wrong. We'll go with D here. First of all, statement 1 is saying recently, okay. Second, rapid recovery from economic and socially think this, people and law and order and everything, migration has been controlled. What this is saying, in Hindi we say घी दूध की नदियाँ बह रही हैं. That is, he is portraying a picture which is too good to be true. You can't bring such a rapid change within a country like Venezuela very soon, very fast. No. So this is an extreme statement. No economic crisis or such big problems like migration are averted in a very short duration of time. No, that is not possible. These things take time. So the word very rapid itself is a giveaway that you have to reject the statement. Next, I come to the part of the general mental ability. Now here I am not going to sit and solve the questions with you. I have just taken a few of them to explain some concepts which I believe you should know. First of all, this kind of question of ABCD is very, very repetitive. And here I want to suggest is that you count the number of alphabets here. So you count here, you will get 5, 10, 15, 20. There are 20 alphabets in total. Now I can split 20 alphabets into 4 into 5 or 5 into 4. That is, these are two ways that I can split them. So I will write, let me write 5 cross 4. So I will write A dash BCD. In the next column, I'll show it to you. I want to show this technique. A dash BCD. In the second column, I'll write dash BBCD. The next column, I'll write ABCCD. And next you have ABC underscore D. Yeah, so this, in this way we can write, or you can write it A dash BC. In the next line you can do two trials of this. Now when you write this way, you can see the progression, that in the first blank you can either fill A or B, and in the second blank it is always A. All the 4 options are giving A. So you remove the second blank and you put A. So now I see AA, BB, CC, DD. This is the kind of progression you're moving. Similarly, if they give 9 alphabets, 12 alphabets, 4 into 3, you have to split and see. You have to count the total alphabets here. This is the way you have to go about, and you have to write it like this. Next I want to talk about is this question. This is a new format of questions. Not a format, this has been asked in CPF 2018 and before also, this type of questions. Yeah, is x plus y an integer? 2x plus y is an integer, x plus 2y is an integer. These are the things. Now we have to solve them. You can read the options very carefully. What I want to say here, what I want to explain or teach you here is that, is x plus y an integer? There are two answers possible of this, yes or no. Now, if with the help of statement 1 and statement 2, I'm not going for this particular question, I'm talking in generic. If something is given as integer, now if with statement 1 or 2, either of them or both of them, you can determine that this question is not an integer. If you get no is an answer, you have to answer it as per that. I mean, if with both the statements you can answer that x plus y is not an integer, suppose you can answer x plus y is not an integer, then you will go that yes, it can be answered using both. You will go, because with both the statements you can determine it is not an integer. Because this is a very common error I have seen in various students, that they try to find that, they try to reach for a yes answer, and when they cannot get a yes answer, they say it cannot be answered. No, it is wrong. Even if you can determine that it is not an integer, you are reaching to an answer to the question. This I want to explain. Then this is next one. Let x plus y be 2-digit number. This 2-digit interchanging is a very, very common question, and it has been frequently asked in the CAPF. Please make sure to correct them, make them correct, and please do not forget that the digits are from 0 to 9, and if you are forming a 2-digit number, the first digit cannot be 0. So please make sure you incorporate 0 appropriately in your calculations for this question. Last question we have is of this. You see, this question is half a page. It is very, very long. students might see and leave this. No, there is no point in getting afraid from hard questions. What is the time required to download the softwares? The size is being given, the transfer rate is being given. This can be seen as a speed is equal to distance by time kind of thing. So you have the distance, you have the speed, you find the time. Yes, it can be answered by both. So in this kind of question, you don't need to sit and solve that. I divide 12, I convert megabytes to kilobytes, and then I divide and I find the time. No, there is no need. You know that if we divide with the correct units, we'll get to answer. You mark option A and you move ahead. I don't want, what I want to explain here is you don't need to sit and solve the question and reach up to answer and then mark it. No, if you know by reading the question that yes, I have all the data to solve this question, you mark and you move ahead. You need to save time in the exam. This ends the entire thing from my end, and I wish you all the best for the CAPF. I hope you solve this, and I also request you to let me know if there are any help or any other videos you want me to bring, or any other analysis or solving some PYQs or something with you. This ends the lecture from my end, and also I want to address the lot of comments on the previous videos about paper 2. People are worrying about paper 2. Please go and view on this channel. There's a playlist on paper 2 writing where there are 4 videos where I have explained video 1 on report, 2 and 3 on argument, and the 4th one on essay. It is a total duration of about 3 hours. Once you watch them, you will be way better and very good in solving and writing the paper 2 answers. So this is all from my end. I wish you all the best. I hope to see you in the written qualified list of the UPSC.